Penultimate Friday, that was the Christian Good Friday. A convoy of 4 brand new buses, blazing with pictures of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027, were speeding on the Abuja-Kefi Expressway, heading towards Nasarawa State. A week earlier, the presidency, following media reports, had issued a statement distancing itself from the flood of billboards in Abuja and Kano, announcing the candidature of Tinubu for president in 2027. Was the presidency playing the Pontius Pilate, distancing itself from the death of Jesus Christ, but supporting his killers and even providing them with the nails?
You see, politics is about is a thing of it's a very interesting arena whereby politicians will always like to propagate their actions, will like to project themselves in a certain light to their constituents. And so I don't think it's completely out of place to have the president's posters around. Even though, like you rightly alluded to yourself, INEC has not released a timetable for campaigns to commence. But again, like I said, politics is about projecting. And so it's not completely out of place to see perhaps supporters of the president and his wife and his vice litter the place with posters and campaign pictures or billboards. Not necessarily campaigning for the president, but projecting the president and showcasing his personality. I think, by and large, this is what the administration is trying to achieve, or rather, this is what the supporters of the administration are trying to achieve. Because if you look around, and I'm sure if you would ask the president or his vice, they have not put anybody to this. So it is all a part of the permutation. Whether for where he's coming from to showcase some of the things that he has achieved, or for where he's going to, which is the unknown. So we will all fold our arms and watch and observe to see what the administration has done or is doing or will do.
It's unfortunate to see that even before INEC announced the commencement of campaigns for the general elections, there are already phony organizations emerging, and the entire city is flooded with posters. It's a violation of the Electoral Act. Yes, the president has spoken to condemn those, but it's really unfortunate.
Most Nigerians believe in eye service. All those billboards. I'm not sure it is the president that is asking them to do, because they are interested in eye service. They do all those things. To me, it is too early to start campaigning for 2027 elections, because Nigerians are yet to have the dividends of democracy they voted for in 2023. We don't have it. It's just 2 years. So after 2 years, it is a distraction for people to start putting on billboards for politicians in 2025. It is a distraction because it affects the focus of the people in power. They'll be thinking of 2027, leaving the basic provisions of what actually the people need. It is a basic purpose. So it is a good thing that the president has came out to say that they should remove it. They should remove it because it is too early. And I believe those doing that are doing that for their selfish interest.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has its electoral timetable, which includes the time for the commencement and conclusion of election campaigns. The National Broadcasting Commission imposes heavy penalty on broadcasters who violate the rules in election campaign. So, as the Commission announced the commencement of the 2027 election campaign, if it has, why is it that only Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the candidate campaigning so aggressively? INEC refused to speak to Signature TV because it said only INEC press corps are permitted to raise issues such as disobeying election guidelines, because INEC, for whatever reasons, refused to react to Bola Tinubu's impunity and lawlessness, Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State, has seized the entire Bauchi town with his campaign billboards and posters. It is Kaura 27, Bala Mohammed for president. Who has the moral fiber to question him? And to be sure, more candidates will beat the gun, and election campaigns in Nigeria against 2027 will be a game without rules. But who should be sanctioned for the infraction of electoral rules? Candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC, the political party sponsoring him, those mounting campaign billboard. Candidate Bala Mohammed, a tattered PDP, or those mounting his billboards.
I do not know the offenses they have committed in putting billboards on the way. Before you place a billboard on any place in Nigeria, there is an agency you pay some money to. Yes, and they will give you the authority to put those billboards. I believe these people must have satisfied all those conditions. So the blame is not on the man that put the billboard. The blame should be on the man that give them the permission to do that. Because the man, if you don't know if that's their personal business, a man in a free society, any man can do any legally acceptable business. If their business is to place billboard to make the president happy or to make the governor happy, they will do it. But it is the institution in government to say, well, this is not the right time for you to do that. You have to wait till the right time. But if I put billboard down on the road without payment of anything, they will come and remove it. So for those billboards not to be removed, it means there's somebody giving them the right to do so. So it is the fault of the agency in charge of granting the permission to do that, because those things that cannot be there without authorization. If you don't authorize them to be there, they won't be there.
The president's son, Sheyi Tinubu, says that his father is the best president Nigeria has ever had. That should be what matters now, as President Tinubu redeemed his election promises to Nigerians. To detract from pursuing the fulfillment of those promises and begin hiding the electorate now into trusting him with another mandate will amount to taking things for granted.
The stark reality is the campaigns for 2027 actually started last year. And that tells you the nature of politics that we play in the country, where we don't wait to deliver on governance, and every cycle we are campaigning and we're almost in an election mode. So where then is the time for governance? And I think that it's important that all political stakeholders need to uphold the provisions of the Electoral Act to the effect that campaigns shall not start until 150 days before the date of an election.
I think the bigger question would be left to Nigerians to answer. There's a model called the onion model. And in that model, the machines or the machineries that drives the onion model are the PIN: position, interest, and needs. Politicians, including the president and his vice and his wife, of course, have subconsciously, that is, the office of the First Lady doesn't have any portfolio as far as the Constitution is concerned. These individuals have defined their position, interest, and needs. It is left for their constituents, Nigerians that is, to define their own position, interest, and needs. So I'll leave that to Nigerians to decide.
The critical question is, however, that now that rules have been broken, who is to suffer the consequence? Who should enforce the sanction? Or does impunity take care of this also?
There's already a consequence in the provisions of the Act that once you violate the provisions, INEC can impose certain sanctions. But I think that, yes, the ongoing electoral reform also provides an opportunity. If there are gaps within the law, then we should introduce laws that provide stricter sanctions for campaigns outside the legal period for the conduct of electoral campaigns.
In Abuja, I am Nasiru Usman for 360 Nigeria.